That's where we're keeping our focus this morning, and the president has indeed warned governors in the country and other high-placed individuals and organizations that the country is indeed facing a bigger challenge when it comes to the economy and looking at how infrastructure will shape up in 2019. And he's quite concerned, saying that we must try to fix this. It's a red flag the president has shown to the people of this country. So to help us understand this, let's go quickly to Abuja. And we're being joined on Sunrise Daily by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Public Matters and Media as well. That is Mr. Garba Shaibu. He joins us from there. He's also with the Special Advisor on Public Communications to Atiku Abubakar, Mr. Frank Shaibu. I want to thank you both, gentlemen, for joining us on Sunrise Daily this morning. Let me begin with you, Mr. Garba. This call by Mr. President, the warning, if you will, to the governors that the economy is not just doing well. Is this just basically stating the obvious?
The language will differ from individual to individual. There is a context in which Mr. President spoke. The President was warning that Nigerians should be mindful of what they do, governors what they do with the economy. Don't forget that there is an ongoing discussion on the issue of new national minimum wage with the, some of the figures that are being canvassed, that a number of states are saying they cannot pay. We are also hearing, and I'm sure the discussion is also on TV at some point, that some senior people in the opposition party are already saying that, well, we have, Baba has accumulated reserves for us, and let's come and spend it all over again. So I think that it's a warning against reckless spending, reckless expectations, and that yes, we have done so well rebuilding the economy, but there's still more work to do.
Is the president, before I get to Mr. Shaibu, is the president hinging this difficult times, he says harder times, if I will quote him, is he hinging this based on the monolithic nature of the economy and the oil prices forecast, which is about $60 per barrel in 2019? Is that part of the reason the president is making this warning?
There is absolutely no way of separating, the fortune of oil and in the international market and the fortune of our national economy. You know that at the level of the preparation of the budget, $60 was projected as the price for next year. Before the budget itself was read on the floor of the National Assembly, in fact, by last week, it had gone below 60. Well, it has come up slightly higher, but then the thing is, it tells you of the volatility of the oil market. In 2016, we just we found ourselves in a recession on account of, well, the damage we found on the ground, and also the fact that the prices of oil plummeted to as low as $28 per barrel. A lot of effort is ongoing to diversify the economy, agriculture, soil minerals, and so on. This is still work in progress. There are significant improvements, but oil, yes, still commands, the highest influence on our earnings.
Mr. Shaibu, let me get your thoughts on this, because largely the president has blamed this on your party, the PDP. How do you respond to this new awakening, this new warning by Mr. President that we will face tougher times in our economy?
Well, basically, I want to say that the president didn't just give a warning. What he did was an open confession that I have failed. The economy you left under my watch. You gave me a mandate to manage the economy of Nigeria. And he confessed to us that he has failed. And when a man says that, he has failed, Nigerians are aware that he has failed. Even his wife is aware that he has failed. So the question is, we're coming to the studio this morning, we shouldn't be here to discuss a man who has confessed, just like a student who went to school and failed in his examination. He knows he has failed. So he said, look, he was not talking futuristically. He was talking based on the current situation. So it's preposterous for us to look at it as if he were talking in the future. You know, between saying that, oh, the president was looking at the future, I think it's completely an afterthought. The president cannot play a blame game here. Playing a blame game is their usual style. Because I remember when he traveled to Poland only recently, he told a section of Nigerians that, look, I'm not going to do any form of buck passing. The issue here is about the economy of Nigeria, which we mandated you to manage, which we elected you to manage, and which we left in your hands. And you have come out to say, look, I have failed. Nigerians are where this man has failed. So it has nothing to do with our party. You know as well that, look, there is a man who came to power, who was elected and was sworn in on the 29th of May 2015, and it took him over 166 days to form a cabinet, leaving the burden of managing the economy in the hands, on the hands of the Central Bank of Nigeria. Now, it became difficult for him. And based on that, he left so many things unattended to. That's what led to the recession, to the recession we came into. And the last time we were in recession was in 1991. So talking about the PDP being his problem is completely out of place. He knows he's a failure. He has confessed so. Nigerians are aware. His wife is aware. His dearest wife is aware. So what else do we need? What he needs is to pack and go. Why waste taxpayers' money to go into an election? So that you spend money junketing from one place or the other, using our presidential jets and the taxpayers' money to fund it? Impossible. That's why we just ask him to.
Let me get back to Garba.
Serious-minded people can
let me get back to Garba. If you just let me put you on pause, Mr. Shaibu, for a minute or two. Mr. Garba, you have heard his response to that. But at some point, the president himself, when he came into office, did say, alluded to the fact that he will not concentrate on the failures which he says the PDP has taken the country through for the past 16 years or thereabout. But we still have this coming out as a confession from Mr. President.
Well, let me say that, you know, Nigerians are the judges, the ones in the best position to determine whether President Buhari and his party have failed. And in a system of democracy, it is not how loudly you shout and how, you know, arrogant one is in their manner of speaking, but by a process of voting. The APC has run a government for 3.5 years, and in every election that is important, Nigerians have given victory to the APC, which is a clear indication that they understand what we are doing, they support what we are doing. So for us, the support of Nigerians for President Muhammadu Buhari and for his administration is more important to us than the judgment of a few who, as I said, are determined to come back because they are celebrating that President Buhari has saved money and has rebuilt the foreign reserves. And they are coming to smash that up. Now, some of the claims made by my dear friend here that President Buhari spent 166 without forming a cabinet, that absolutely is untrue. It took him time to form a cabinet because the outgoing administration in 2015 did not cooperate with this transition committee. The president was given handover notes 48 hours, you know, to the handover of power. And for whatever reason, the president at that time determined that the questions that President Buhari was asking for details of this and that amounting to running a second government in office. And he came out to warn his ministers and his permanent secretaries not to cooperate with President Muhammadu Buhari, that this country will not have two governments running at the same time. What that meant is that President Buhari had to wait to come into office and then learn the inner workings, all of the things that they had done, so that he can build on, you know, the processes. So we are satisfied. The president has done well. The economy he inherited was horribly disjointed. It was broken. And the recession, the downfall in the economy was noticeable from 2014. And graphically, this had been shown. It hit the bottom in 2016, and then we had to go up. If they had done the necessary things, if they had taken steps that were necessary to forestall the recession, we would not have found ourselves in. But they just sat down there, taking oil dollars at some point up to 140 per barrel. But they were just spending it.
If you say,
in addition to that,
permit me to just come in here again. If you say that the administration, this administration has done so well, according to your submissions and the figures that you're reeling out, what about job creation? How comes that this administration has recorded so much bad job losses, as been shown by the NBS, the National Bureau of Statistics? These are jobs that you said that you create.
Let me say to you that I think there was a lucky departure from last week. The NBS chief had addressed the federal cabinet, and he made the admission himself that they had concentrated analysis over time on white-collar jobs, and they had not taken cognizance